Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Lauren, aka BooksMcD. I'm going to be switching it up in the future. I'm going to be using my own personal rating scale that is out of 10. And it's not new to me, obviously, but it's new here, so I wanted to talk about it a little bit and how I use it differently than the rating scales that are available on a lot of websites. So Goodreads has a 5-star system. It's not half points, half anything, quarter anything. And actually, if you hover over the different stars, the different levels, 1 is I didn't like it, 2 is it was okay, 3 is I liked it, 4 is I really liked it, 5 is loved it. That doesn't work for me. Typically 3 would be like neutral, and then it would be equal parts on both ends, okay? Storygraph is a little better, at least, because with Storygraph, and I haven't hovered over to see like if their particular star points have different designations like Goodreads does, but they have quarter and half points, so you can leave a 1.25 for whatever reason if you wanted to do that. I've been using that scale just matching Goodreads as I've been transitioning to Storygraph, and then I don't like Goodreads scale, so I started using half points. And then this year I've started using my personal scale and then dividing it in half. My personal scale is based out of 10. And then when I divide it in half, it really kind of feeds nicely into Storygraphs. So I'll go over my scale and then I'll just pin this video so people are aware when they come see a review by me. So 10, right off the bat, 10 is a perfect book, okay? That's whatever genre, it doesn't matter. It's a perfect book. I can't describe what that is to you. I can only describe what that is to me. It might make me laugh. It might make me cry. It might make me throw it across the room. Probably it's going to get a lot of emotion out of me, although sometimes if people are a little bit too emotionally manipulative to do that, I might rate it lower. It depends, but that's a perfect book. There aren't a lot of those. Technically, there shouldn't be with my scale, right? There shouldn't be a lot of 10s, so there shouldn't be a lot of 5s. There is 9, which is, this is a book that I'm talking to everybody about, okay? I'm openly recommending it to anyone, everyone. If I'm seeing somebody, I'm like, oh, hey, I just read this book. I need to tell you about it. There's books that can get between, so I do use half points in mine, so there's books that can get between, but 10 is like, I know some people don't think that you should have a rating scale where you can't achieve a 10, but 10 is just, it's rare. It should be rare. So 9 is, I'm talking about it to everybody, even people who don't read, I'm talking about it. 8 is, I'm going to openly recommend the book to the right person. It makes me think of somebody. I know somebody else who's going to love it. I'm going to recommend it to them right off the bat. I'm going to call them, text them, whatever. So it's up there, but it's not maybe for everybody. It's just that I know somebody else who will love it, and I also love it. 7 is, I'm not going to talk about it. I'm not really talking about it openly. I liked it. I enjoyed it. If somebody asks me about it, I will probably recommend it. And that's kind of how I view the 7 range of things, is that I'm not talking about it that much. But if somebody's asking me, I'm probably going to recommend it. Probably. 6 is kind of just a little less than that. I'm definitely not talking about it. If somebody asks me about it, I might recommend it. I might not, depending on what they like. So I'm going to be thinking more about, is this really for them? 7, it's more like, yeah, sure. I'm not openly talking about it, but yeah, sure, I'd give it a try. 6 is more like, let me think about what you like and if you would like it. 5, I can't think of a better way to describe 5 than just average. It's just soup's average, right in the middle. It doesn't bring a lot forward, but I didn't hate it. Just super nooch, super true neutral. 4, below average. This is where we're probably getting on the other side of 6, where I'm saying, nah. And I know it's kind of like a nuanced, okay, if somebody asks me about it and I'm thinking about it, but this is like, I'm probably going to recommend against it more times than not, right? But if I'm thinking about it, right? A 4 is like, I'm thinking about it. I'm not sure. I'm still thinking about it, but I'm on the side of I didn't like it, and I'm thinking, well, they could, but, I'm really waffling. 4 and 5 are tough for me to rate between. If something's a 4, why not a 5? If something's a 5, why not a 4? These two scores you're probably not going to see a lot because I struggle with the nuance between 5 and 4. 3 is like, you ask me, I'm going to say no. I'm not openly telling people I just read this crapper, you know what I mean? But if somebody asks me about it, I'm going to say, don't waste your time. It's a hard pass. It's a hard pass. 2 is, okay, I'm telling everybody, listen to this crappy book I just read. I just read this book. I hate it. Don't read it. It's the opposite of 9, right? Like I'm openly talking about it, but in a bad way, in a bad way. One is probably DNF. One is, I mean, on my scale I wrote, I hate it, kill me now, worst book ever read, DNF. That's a little extreme. It's mostly DNFs, things that I just, for whatever reason, and the sad part is sometimes it's just that it's not for me right now. If that happens and I read it later, I will re-rate it. Sometimes I don't even rate books if I DNF because it doesn't feel fair. So I really have to get through the whole thing and hate its guts. Like hate it, hated the whole experience, was just getting through it to get through it because I felt obligated or whatever. And a lot of times I'm DNFing. So you probably won't see ones a lot because if I DNF, I really don't feel like it's fair to provide a rating. But it's down there. You know what I'm saying? I do use half points, like I said, so I'm gonna say 7.5, and then when you divide that out, that works really well with Storygraph's, quarter point scale. So I can give something a 3.25. I can give something a 2.75. And the thing I hate is that people think that like 2.5 is bad. 2.5 is a 5 on my scale. To me, a 5 is average. Sure, okay, yeah, I guess you don't want your book to be average, but it could be worse, right? So for me, there's something about this 10-point scale that works personally. I have a virtual book club that I do. All of my friends make fun of me for this scale because it seems so arbitrary to them. But for me, this scale, I was having a lot of trouble distinguishing between books of different genres. There was something about certain nonfiction and microhistories that I could really appreciate the work that was put into them, even if, sometimes they're a little drier or whatever. And then there's like these epic fantasies that take so much time and effort. And then, you have your contemporary fiction, and then you have your, rom-coms. And I was having trouble rating all of these things against each other, feeling like I was being super inconsistent between the genres. So what this scale allows me to do is it allows me to say, is this a book I'm talking about? If it's a book that I'm talking about, then it should be rated higher. If it's a book that it doesn't bring enough forth in me to talk about, then it's average. And if I'm talking about it in a bad way, then it's at the bottom. So it's more about, am I talking about the book than what genre it is or who wrote it. So that's my personal rating scale. That's what I'll be using in perpetuity, forever, for all time. If you see me rating on Goodreads, I'm probably rounding up or down depending on what it divides out to in Storygraph. But on my own personal channel, in my own blog, I don't really blog that much anymore, but I use this scale. This is the scale I'm going to continue to use. So 10, a perfect book. 9, openly recommending to anyone, everyone. 8, openly recommending to the right person. It makes me think of somebody specifically that's going to like it. 7, if someone asks me, I will probably recommend it. 6, above average. If someone asks me, I really have to think about it. 5, average. 4, below average. If somebody asks me, I have to think about it, but I also didn't like it, so it doesn't bode well. 3, I'm recommending against the book if somebody asks me. Like, I'm not fully talking about it to everybody, but if somebody asks me, it's a real quick decision. No, don't waste your time. 2, I'm openly telling everybody about this piece of crap I read. And 1 is just, you're really not going to see a lot of 1s. 1s is DNF, but I don't rate because I don't feel like it's fair. So that's the summary of the scale. Hope you enjoy, and hope it's not confusing going forward because I'm not going to sum it all up each time. Maybe I'll put a little thing with it written out at the beginning of a video where I'm going to do a review so that people are aware if they're coming here for the first time. But I will pin this so people see it going forward. Anyway, that's it for today. I'm on social media. Like and subscribe for more. I will have reviews coming in the future. You're all great. Hope you're having a cool day. Talk to you later. Bye.